boys, Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's Workshop. Boys, got a busy day in the shop today. A while ago, Hurricane Fiona went through. We all know that. And I had mentioned a couple of times in videos that I had ordered something that's going to help me with the cleanup. Well, a lot of you guessed what that was, and I think I mentioned it a couple of times too. But anyways, what I ordered was a Woodland Mills WC46 chipper. This chipper, it'll work off my PTO on the tractor because this chipper is designed to work between 15 and 30 horsepower, I think it was. And my tractor is a 22 and a half horsepower. So it'll work off the rear PTO. It takes a stick up to 4 inches in diameter, about like that. So, you know, that should be good for chipping up a lot of the limbs that come off my trees. Most limbs don't get much more than 4 inches in diameter. So I ordered this chipper and I was all excited to get it. I ordered from Woodland Mills. Like I say, Woodland Mills is a Canadian company and they ship internationally. But here in Canada, when I ordered, I think it was only 6 days and the chipper showed up here in the yard, so I was very happy with that. They're very well crated up, so I spent some time getting the crate off it, and you'll see that here because I'm going to unbox this. When I got it all apart, all out of the crate, and then when I assembled it, because there's quite a little bit of assembly you have to do yourself, I noticed that the flange and the main bearing for the flywheel of the main chipper, like the brains of the whole organization, that flange was broken. I wasn't too happy about that, so I contacted Woodland Mills. Now I'm going to say this about Woodland Mills. Their customer service is second to none. As far as I'm concerned, in my mind, they're second to none. They responded to me right away. I didn't call them. I sent them an email because my phone service here is not all that great. Sent them the email in the afternoon. The next morning there was a response. What can we do to help? This is not good. We need to see some pictures of it. So I sent them some pictures. They got right back to me, like boom, 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 just like that, right back to me. And they said, yeah, that's no good. What can we do to make it right? So I ended up calling them, or no, they called me one afternoon. They called me, and I was in town. Just lucky I was in town because the phone worked, so that was good. So anyways, I had a little chat with them, and first off, they were just going to send me a bearing, and I said, well, you know, this is a brand new machine. I spent a lot of money for it. I don't have a lot of money to spend, so I want to spend my money wisely. I don't want to just, you know, hope that this is going to be good. I said, if you send me a bearing, I'm putting a bearing on a piece of equipment that was damaged, and I'm not sure what else could be wrong with the chipper, so I don't know that I want to just change the bearing. So, you know, I'd like a new chipper. So they said, well, all right, just we'll get back to you. The next morning they did, sent me an email. Yes, we reviewed everything and we feel that the new chipper is the best solution for your problem, Mike. So that's what they did. They sent the transport truck out. I had to disassemble the chipper, put it all back on a pallet as best I could, and put the metal cage around it so that the shipping company could pick it up. But I did that. They came and picked it up, took it away, and then the new chipper arrived today. So what we're going to do today is we're going to unbox that chipper, we're going to assemble it, and we're going to try and make some chipping, or we're going to try and chip up some limbs. So hopefully we'll have some success with that, so let's go get at her. All right, that's the way she shows up. Look at that, nice cardboard box, right? But underneath this cardboard box, there's a metal framework that's built around a pallet. So when we open that up, and I'll show you. So this cover lifts off. So there it is, and it's a pretty rugged frame, eh? So we have to go to work and take the bolts out the bottom. So now this should just lift off. All right, it's well packaged to say the least, eh? One of the reasons, well, a couple of the reasons I went with Woodland Mills, this comes complete with a PTO shaft. Everything you need is here. All you gotta do is buy hydraulic oil for it. They don't ship it with hydraulic oil. They're Canadian made, it had hydraulic infeed chute, it takes sticks up to 4 inches in diameter, works off my tractor, and customer services top drawer. All right, let's do some unwrapping. in this tube here are the instructions. So what we have to do is these two bolts, we have to take those out on both sides, move it to the mid position, because the way they determine that is you measure the ground clearance to your PTO shaft in your tractor. So from ground to my PTO shaft is about 17 inches. So then there's two positions here. There's a 19 inch and a 21.5 inch. And they say mount it to the one that's closest to the ground clearance of your PTO shaft. That way when you're running the chipper, the shaft will be as straight as we can get it. So I'm going to put this in the mid position. So here's the entrance to it, right here. Now the lighting is not great, but you can see, like, that's beefy, eh? And there's plastic curtains here, and if you look in there, terrible lighting, but that's the wheel that hauls the branches and limbs into the chipper. This is the hydraulic pump motor right here, and the pump is mounted down underneath this enclosure, because if we look around here, we can see this belt drive, and that drives the pump down in the lower left there. There's a belt tensioner. The belt's in good shape, of course, and this was the flange bearing that was broke the last time, and I'm very happy to see that it's all intact and in good condition. All right, the outlet of the chipper itself, good and strong, eh? Beefy material. Here's the hydraulic tank down below. It takes 18 liters of hydraulic fluid. And there's the connections. One of the hoses is not connected. You connect that after after we start some more unpacking. We'll connect that. But one thing I want to do is just open this cover to expose the chipper and the flywheel. This is heavy. So there's the flywheel, and I'm just going to turn this around, and it turns well, no wobble. Works good. Okay, there's the blades on it. The blades are about 6 inches long, I'd say, from bottom to top. Oh yeah, they're pretty sharp too. The blades are reversible. You see there the two cutting edges on them. 3 bolts hold each blade in. So so they're reversible. Should get good use out of them. This flywheel, it's about well, I could measure it, but I'm going to guess it's 14 inches in diameter, and it's about 5/8 of an inch thick, maybe even 3/4. So it's plenty heavy, and then it has these fins, so that as it comes around in chips, the chips will fly out through this opening, down into this cup. That cup will carry it out the chute. The chute exit is on the far side, so that's good. The way this cuts is this blade here will rotate around. The piece will come in the infeed chute here. Down at the bottom there's a stationary blade. The stationary blade is here, if you can see that. And these 3 bolts, you can loosen those, and then you can loosen that off and slide that stationary blade back and forth to adjust the clearance between these blades that are flying around here. These blades, adjust the clearance between those to be whatever you'd like it to be. And I'm not sure if you can see, but way down in there, see, right down in there, you probably can't see it, but that's the clearance between the stationary blade and the revolving blade, and it shears it off. So that's why they're able to cut 6-inch sticks, because it shears. Alright, so it looks pretty good. It's quick hitch compatible, we saw that, and the actual mount for it is made, that looks like 1/4-inch plate, formed up and welded, good looking welds too. Okay, now that we have the base set where we need it, they want you to connect the hydraulic lines. So it says here, fill with 17 liters of oil. So we'll do that once we get the line connected. And that bolts on, or screws on there like that. Okay, now for the next feat of engineering. This plate here, which turns out to be the top of the chute, but it going to go on the bottom here. This goes on here, and we have to bolt that in place. So it provides all the hardware you need to put everything together. So that's pretty stiff for moving, but I think that's going to be okay. One thing I did notice on the back here, there's a bracket, and it's angled, and it's got a rubber cushion on it. So that sits on there to keep it from scratching it. So, and it's angled so that this meets up with it right at the right angle. So that's kind of impressive. Okay, the next thing are these side panels. We're going to install the side panels on the side here. They go like that. They take a short little screw like that. It's an Allen head screw with a fender washer. You put the fender washer on the screw, pass it through from the inside, because we want those smooth heads on the inside so that branches and sticks and whatnot don't get caught on them. And then all the hardware is nylock nuts, which is nice because that keeps it from, hopefully it keeps it from shaking loose. Alright, so this is going to hang on here. Panels are heavy, so it's hard to do. So once again, the screw with the fender washer. Alright, and they say don't tighten them up, so I won't. Alrighty. Okay, next is the bottom of the chute, and it's heavy and hard to hold. But once again, with the short bolts, and they suggest we start at the inside here and just put the two, end ones in first. Try a little bit, something different. See if this is going to make it any easier. Alright, we got two of them in, so I'm going to set this back down again, if I can, without too much trouble. There. Okay, now they want us to put this edge bar on. That goes over the top. Everything goes on the outside. So that goes on there, something like that. That in there like that. Okay, we've come to the part in the video now where I go back and correct my mistakes. The screws that go in this chute, you put the smooth side to the inside. Wait, I'll just show you this again. I'll take this one out. So it's a rounded head bolt. So that goes to the inside. And I was putting the fender washer on it, putting it on the inside. Well, it turns out the fender washer goes on the outside. So we put that bolt in there. Fender washer and nut go on the outside. Alright, so I have to go around the whole thing now and correct that little mistake. Okay, it's time to mount this directional bar. And that goes on here. Something like that. So this goes through the hole in the side, through the bar handle, and then a washer goes on it. And then this hooks on here. And then the nut goes on it. Alright. That looks like that's in place. Then they suggest we go around now and tighten all the nuts and bolts. So all these ones that hold the sides together, I guess they're waiting for you to get everything assembled before you would go ahead and tighten it. So, okay, down underneath here, I'm not sure if you can see it, but this is the directional valve for the hydraulic infeed drive. And this is the tie rod that goes between the two of them. So we're going to put this bolt through here. So we want that to be able to swing free like that. And then at this end there's a clevis, so we pull the pin out of that. We put this clevis in this connecting rod to the directional valve. The next step is to get this beast on. And they say in the instructions there's the locking mechanism here that locks the chute. Put that towards the tractor. So that's what I'm doing. So there's 4 bolts to hold this on. 2 of them are short, 2 of them are long. The short ones go on this side because the metal cheek here is not as thick as on the other side. And then these 2 go on the far side. And then there's also handles on the chute. More plastic wrap to undo. Alright, let's talk about the PTO shaft. PTO shaft is included with the chipper. That's pretty nice to see. And this is a nice heavy duty PTO shaft, I must say. If you have to cut your PTO shaft for any kind of attachment or implement, I'd check up, closely to make sure that you're going to cut it the correct way, because you want to cut equal amounts off both ends of it so that there's an equal amount of engagement and you don't have any weak spots or weak parts. And you don't want to be cutting your shaft wrong because T-shafts are expensive. This is the PTO shaft that I use for my snowblower, and this shaft, it's a good measurement. I don't have to turn this PTO shaft, so it's shorter than the one I got from Woodlands. It's shorter by a good 2 or 3 inches. So this is the PTO drive shaft that I'm going to be using. I don't have to cut my PTO shaft from Woodland Mills, so I'm lucky that way. Well, we're going to put some oil in it. We need to put hydraulic oil in it. Hydraulic oil goes in right here. It takes the full jug of oil. Okay, here we go. By the way, the oil I'm using, it's ISO 32 straight hydraulic oil. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. We have Greenpeace coming after me for the oil spill in here. So the main bearings, there's 2 main bearings on the flywheel, one here and one on the other side. The manual says they're already greased from the factory, don't have to grease them right away, so I'm not going to grease that. But I am going to put a little grease on this input shaft for the PTO, or from the PTO. Okay, I'm going to try to put the PTO shaft on. It's hard to video, so I'll come back on it when I'm finished with that. So this is going to be the first try with the chipper. It's not going to stick through this yet. I got to fill it with oil. I haven't even run the rotary yet. Now I'm going to engage the rear PTO. So I'm going to try and get the wheel to go. The wheel has started. Going forward. That's the neutral. That's the reverse. Now we're going to speed up the PTO, the tractor RPMs very slowly to get to 540. Remove the chute first. They say it could be noisy. So we got the earmuffs on. I guess all I can do is try it, right? Here goes. First stick. Not trimmed or anything. Piece of pie. Starting to smell like Christmas around here. That's I don't know, 2 inches pieces through. Maybe 2.5 inches. Now we want to open this up and see what it looks like inside here. So after just running those few sticks, everything is still nice and clean inside. The chute there, see a little bit of pine tar starting to build up, but I expect that we'll get a lot of that. It ran nice and smooth. It wasn't vibrating. One thing I didn't mention, there's a speed control on the in-feed chute, and right now it's at the slowest speed it can go. It can go from 0 to 10, whatever 10 is, I don't know. But that speed seems to be a pretty good speed for me. It was chipping plenty fast enough, so I don't know that I'd change it off there, but you know, you never can tell. I might sometime. One thing I noticed right away, if you're looking for just plain chips, don't chip softwoods because the needles come right out too. But here's some of the chips. Wait till I just see if I can get some of those. Not much needle in it. Well, I guess that's going to be hard. But the chips are a good size. I'm thinking like if you want to use that on trails or something. So yeah, those are nice sized chips. Chipper works good. And it's certainly going to help with Fiona cleanup. Swing that around back. There's 2 clips down here that we unhook. See, one of them's already unhooked, so I guess I need to tighten that a little bit. there. This rod goes in here. And then when I have it packed up like that, I think it'll fit good in the shelter, so I'll be able to leave it on the tractor for a while. So, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video about my unboxing and welcoming the WC46 to the Grampie's Workshop team. Take care, folks. We'll talk to you.